look like really wow Raquel right now, but I just dropped off my daughter at school.
Alright, so go ahead and take your 2 garlic cloves. Just use whatever knife you have. A trick I learned is to cut each end like this, and then go ahead and use the flat top of your knife to press down on the garlic clove until you hear that crack, and then you can easily peel it off. It just comes like right off, because this kind of doesn't always come off easily, but for the most part it just comes off. And there you have one ready for the rice. Now you need one for your beef and your chicken. So go ahead and do the same thing, just cut it. You might need 3, but you usually only need 2, whichever you're making, beef or chicken. I don't know, sometimes I do both at the same time, like beef and chicken enchiladas, but usually I only make one or the other. So usually you're only going to need 2, but I just realized I'm going to need 3 since I'm going to show you how to do beef and chicken. Okay, next we're going to cut our cilantro. Make sure you rinse it very, very well, because there's things going around with cilantro that I don't even know about. Go ahead and rinse it, wash it very well, and then go ahead and chop as much as you want. I use a little bit for rice, and then a little bit just to drizzle on top of enchiladas. So, I mean, you don't have to, but if you like that cilantro flavor, you know, I use it to give the beef flavor, and I use it to give my rice flavor, and I use it for on top of enchiladas. So, go ahead and rinse right now. Once you have it here, you're going to just cut as needed. So, like, I like to leave the big, long pieces, like, for example, like this, not so choppy, but just like this, kind of whole, to put it in the rice, so it can give it a flavor. Because a lot of people don't like cilantro, so I kind of have to leave it, the stems on the sticks, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, like this is okay, because if you don't like cilantro, you could just pick it out, is what I'm saying. But if you leave it into little pieces, some people just don't like cilantro. So, anyways, this is going to be for my rice. And then I cut a little bit more, same deal as that, for the beef to give it flavor. So just a little bit. You can use less, it just depends. And then the rest, I actually do chop up into tiny pieces just to drizzle on top of the enchiladas. Let's just go ahead and cut. I do it into like the tiniest, like literally minced. Just really minced. So the next thing we're going to cut is this onion here, and yeah, so I usually just use half of an onion. So I'll just cut it in half and take all of this little paper cover, whatever you want to call it, in the onion. So just like this, you're just going to use this. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do now with this piece is we're going to divide it so we can use each piece, one for the chicken, one for the beef, and one for the rice. So you just want to really cut it in thirds, I guess. So this could be enough for like the rice, just to give it that onion flavor. And this could be for the beef. And then this piece can just be for the chicken. So it's just to give it that flavor, you know, it's nothing crazy. Now if you want to cut some onion for your enchiladas to drizzle on top, you can. But not everyone likes onions, so, you know, it's just a preference thing. So just use what you want to use.
The lighting is a little bit crazy. So once you have cut your little pieces of onion, you can go ahead and put it in a plastic baggie and put it in the fridge so it can stay cold. Meanwhile, you know, you're going to start cooking everything, and that way it's just ready. It's just easier to do this way. Get this at one time as well. And yeah, you just need one. Alright, so next we're going to grate our cheese. I would recommend 1 pound of cheese to make your beef and your chicken enchiladas. This is just 1 pound of beef, and it's ground beef chuck. So it's 80% lean, 20% fat. So we want a little bit of that fat. It's gonna give it our sauce flavor. And then if you have chicken, I just grabbed this from Walmart. It's the Tyson All Natural Split Chicken Breast, and it was $4.71 for, oh, here we go, 2.56 pounds. So like 2.5 pounds right here of chicken. You don't have to use all of it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and cook all of this right here. Almost high, so like 8.
Now for the chicken, it's simmering right now. You see all this like white, foamy stuff here? You can take that out or leave it. I like to leave it in until all of the fat is out, because most of the time the fat clings to it. And if you take it out, you're basically taking out all the fat. And you need that fat for that flavor that you're about to make. Sorry, I'm like yelling into the next because this fan is on. You need that fat so you can make that delicious, flavorful enchilada sauce. You need that fat, that chicken flavor. So you don't want to just go ahead and scoop it out, because look at all that fat right there. You're just going to take it out and it's going to be water broth. And you don't just want water broth. So just a tip.
go ahead and add your serrano pepper or jalapeno pepper. Go ahead and add a little bit of cilantro in there, gives it flavor. And go ahead and add your garlic. And last but not least, add your onion. And you can add as much onion as you want. I had more onion. What happened to my onion? I don't know what happened to it. Find it. But anyways, okay. And then you mix this all up. Don't add any salt whatsoever to this. The cheese is going to be very salty in your enchiladas, and if you add salt to this or add salt to that, your enchiladas are going to be super salty, which has happened to me, so don't do the mistake that I did. So just do that, and then once this starts turning brown, we will add the chili powder to it. Right here, this is 88 cents. You can get it at Walmart. And then you can go ahead right now and add ground black pepper. I got this at Walmart too, also 88 cents. They used to be 50 cents. They bumped up their prices. So just add, like, you know, this gives it a nice little spicy kick to it. It's just really yummy. It's really good. So the more you add to it, the spicier kick you'll have, but you don't have to add that much. Just like I said, it really depends on if you like black pepper, and it's gonna give it that flavor. If you don't add ground black pepper, these enchiladas will not taste like how I make them, but it really does add a good flavor. So go ahead and brown this up.
Who are we kidding? We cannot use this at all. Just take it off. Waste of time. Just go ahead and open the lid. And just about that much, which is like a whole spoonful of this spoon. And now just mix it around. This is going to give it flavor, color, lots of BAM! Just kidding. But yeah, you see what I mean? You really want it to be red and yummy. So there we go. Just mix that around. Let that finish cooking.
So we have the meat here. We have the sauce, the broth here. And what you want to do now is just go ahead and turn it back on to simmer. You can let this brown a little bit more just to sizzle it. Make sure that, you know, this is really well cooked. I mean, it is already, as you can tell, but just, you know, preference. Some people like it a little bit more hard, the meat. It's just really preference, okay? So there's this. We're gonna leave this on this to the side.
And your garlic clove. Oops, a little bit cilantro went in there. That's fine. Get your serrano pepper or jalapeno pepper, whichever you have, and your bouillon, tomato bouillon. So go ahead and do that, and then go ahead and just pour the rice in. Don't worry, we're gonna mix this all up. So I'm going to just use one of these little spoons here and just mix this around. And I'm just going to make sure that the rice is all covered with that oil so it doesn't stick to the pan and it doesn't get nasty and stuff like that. So we're just going to let this, you know, get all in the oil. And like I said, you can add more rice if you want to this. I think I'm going to add a little bit more rice just because I feel like maybe I put too much oil and I don't want it to be like super greasy. So I'm just going to add like half a cup, another half cup in here, but 1 cup is enough. So yeah. Once that's done, you're going to go ahead and put your water. This is just 1 cup, but like I said, you're going to need more than 1 cup. So I have another more water here, so just use as needed. So I'm just gonna go like that. And then keep in mind also that tomato sauce is watery. So you want to put like half the cup in there, see what I mean? There's no measurements here in my household, ever. Like I said, you just really, as much red as you want it to be, or, you know. What is this? What is that? Oh my gosh. What is that? Oh, I thought it was missing. What is this? Alright, so just go ahead and stir that while I figure out what the heck this was that just threw in there. Oh, it's a piece of cilantro. I was like, don't tell me a bug just came in, it's just a piece of cilantro. I was about to die. Anyways, okay, so see how it's simmering? What you want to do is let it boil until it boils, and be careful, it might make a mess and start popping everywhere. You might get burned. So just be careful. You want to let it boil because it'll get that rice that's super hard tender. So it won't make it like super soggy, but it'll make it tender, and that's what you want. Once it does that, you can simmer it down. And that's the best way I learned to make it. Let it boil first, and then simmer it.
And that's basically how I do my rice, girl. But you can be super, super lazy and just go buy some at any local Mexican supermarket.
So next what you want to do is grab a cup or about a cup of flour. This is just regular all-purpose flour from Walmart. And you're gonna use a tiny little pan like this, little pan here, and you're going to make it brown it a little bit.
Chili powder, and I'm just grabbing a little bit of more flour and dumping it in. Go ahead and blend again. It's still a little bit orange. I need it to be a little bit more red, so I went ahead and added a little bit more chili powder in there. And go ahead and cream and blend again. Don't worry, it's going to get thick as soon as this heats up. It's going to get thick. See how it's boiling? Let's go ahead and turn that off and whisk it a little more. You can tell it's a lot thicker now and creamy. Still watery, but it's thicker is what I'm saying. It's like a cream base. Kind of like tomato sauce. You see, it's like thick. Alright, so that's what you want it to be. Basically what you're going to do is grab a tortilla, dip both sides, drain, and just pass it over here. And make your tortilla. Make your enchilada with either just cheese, either just beef or chicken. Roll it up and push it to the side. And that is the process. I know it's going to be a long process, but believe me, if there was a quicker way, the only way is have your husband help you. So good luck.
Because this is such a long process, I like to do like this. Go ahead and grab either the chicken, the beef, use a spoon or a fork or whatever you want, and the cheese, and roll them up. So, I mean, I'm just going to use my fingers just because I can, you know. Put a little bit of chicken here, you know, just like that. Grab some cheese and fit it there. And then, you know, like my daughter, she only likes really cheese, so I'll put some cheese just here for her. And then, you know, grab a spoon for the beef and just take some beef and make some for me because I like beef right there. Don't worry, if cilantro gets in there, you can always take it out if you don't want the cilantro. And then just grab some more cheese, place here, and that's basically the process that I use. It just makes life much more easier, faster, and like that. And then you just basically roll them up. This is harder to do because I'm just showing you with one hand. I'm grabbing the camera, but you get the drift. So you just roll very gently and place it next to it, the other friend, until you're all done. And once you're all done doing this process, like this is chicken and cheese, so I'll put this one up here. This one was also chicken and cheese, I'll put up there. This is beef, and I'll leave the cheese on the side for my little daughter and my boy. So I'll go ahead and do this type of a deal.
Alright, so this ordeal is super hot. Oh my goodness. Definitely grab a glove when you're gonna take them out. Ahead and open my can of beans, and I'm just gonna heat them up just so they can be ready to eat. They look nasty right now, but they're not. They're pretty good. I'm just gonna leave them warm, and that's basically pretty much it for that task. It doesn't get easier than that, right? Because you've already worked so hard on your enchiladas. And this is the end result.